everybody, how you doing? All right, Mr. Don, Pastor Don, Prophet Don, Church on the Narrow Way. And I hope that your church is also on the narrow way. Right? Right. Especially during this time. The virus and everything. But it's not so much what I want to talk about is that. I think I have enough said about that. But I was thinking, there's something in my spirit that God is just pushing in my spirit to talk to you about the way of the world and what's really going on, and about myself personally. I think, and the ministry and how have gotten here. But I feel that the subject for me, the Lord pushed in my spirit, is talking about. You go places. You ever go places and you do things, and people say you ought to do this, and yeah, man, you ought to go to that church, man, you ought to go there, you ought to get involved in that thing and that thing, and that's what people are doing. And you try to realize that you get there and you jump in, you kind of like see what's happening, and you realize that's not it for me. That's not it, and you can't do those things. You can't put your soul under that. You're not ready to go through, what people are saying. Oh, that's what you ought to do, man. You gotta, man. You gotta get in there. You gotta. And there are some things that everything has a price. Everything has a price. Jesus paid a price for us and our salvation. Amen. But I just feel like God is speaking to people who struggle with truth. And you may not be perfect, but it's like, but I'm better than what they think I am. My heart is more convicted than they think it is, and because they know you from when you were, from way back when, and they think that, well, you're still that way. You have to be, don't be trying to get better, So I've kind of decided, let me reach out to people who are really, kind of brokenhearted about so many things, about church, about some organization you're a part of, a group, people telling you what you ought to probably do, and you realize it's like, you feel like, So, yeah, I just happened to think about, I was thanking God for reminding me, according to the name of the church, and being on the narrow way. And it made me go to that scripture, and I guess I could read it. I have the raggediest Bible you ever want to see, my God, but I can read it, okay? Enter, it says, what is it, Matthew chapter 7, verse 13. It says, enter by the narrow gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leads to destruction. And there are many who go in by it. Because narrow is the gate, and hard is the way that leads to life. They mean eternal. He means eternal life. And there are few who find it. God, man, that stuff it sticks in my spirit. It's like it's so hard in one sense to succeed because everybody just, doing whatever. We go to churches, we go to places, and we hear preaching we don't agree with. And it's like, well, they're here. I talk to people all the time who are just, my pastor so-and-so, my bishop is, my prophet is so-and-so. And you realize I've seen this person and the things that they've compromised on, and that church is doing. It's like, how are you sitting there? It's like, I've been that way all my life. I just don't have it. I can hang for a while, but when I see there's an ego popping off, you with musicians and all of them got an ego popping off, and I'm the baddest piano player, and they got ego. It's just like, the musician, the drummer, the this, the that, and I'm the baddest bass that ever been. You walk, you can tell the spirit on them is just like jacked up, and it's like pride is just. I'm like, what happened, And I must admit, man, humility is me, but I can speak up for myself. It's like, I used to sometimes wouldn't say things, but as a prophet, you're called to address stuff. And it's like sickening. You wonder, okay, bishop or pastor or prophet of the church, why don't you don't hear this stuff? They never address. They see the pride, and And that turned me off, man, from church, man. I was like, I think I'm tired of just being a part of anything, you know what I mean? Just anything. So, I don't know. But reading that scripture, it really helps me. It might help you too. But I'm going to say this to you. Let me see if I can move this along again. The Lord told me one time, he said to me, he woke me up, he said, and God, God will really talk to you. And I hope that's what's happening in your life. But God said, I've called you to be a prophet. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm still like, but I do it. I can do it with no problem. Like I said, I'm writing a book on all of these things. Because I really feel people need to know. And I don't like it when, like, they call sheep dumb. I don't like them because I'm sure they're smart sheep, educated sheep. And I said that on the video, the church is the dumbest, but, I hate saying it that way, but, I could say gullible, but you know what I mean? It's like, you want knowledge, I want to feel convicted. When I'm wrong, I want to feel convicted. I want to feel bad about, I don't take that from me. If I'm guilty, I like let me wear the guilt, Like I said, if it's sackcloth and ashes, okay, let's do it, but I don't want a message of just straight inspiration. That's fine up to a certain point, but let me regret, remorse, cry, contrite heart, pray, bow, forgive, ask, I don't know how people, I just like, and then when the Lord called me, I'm just saying, like I said, about that people, I'm happier than I've ever been because I don't have to bounce that guilt off some. I know when it's wrong. I know when I'm right. But and it's like other people, they go into denial. You can't say anything to people. If you say something to them, no, you think I am. No, you just want me to conform what you. It's like, okay, you know what you're looking at. You know it's straight up pride. You know that musician is acting. You know that preacher has an ego. All these things are happening, and nobody says anything. Nobody says, and your life, you're getting older and still stuck. And so God said to me, I'm calling you for a different ministry. And he said, you're not going to be a copy. You're not going to copy off other preachers. You're not going to take their sermons and say things like, go in your comfort zone. You're just like in your comfort zone. And you're not going to say things, you need a covering. Everybody doesn't need a covering. That's one of those things. That's a good example. See, what you need is a covering. They just throw, it's like, man, everybody doesn't need a covering unless the Lord tells them. Sometimes as a prophet, I don't even meet that many people who understand prophecy, and they can be a bishop to the third power, man. It's like, they don't know what's going on. You can't just run up under somebody's ministry and have them putting their foot on you, or else they're not really, or just controlling, I hope you feel me. It's got to be people out there like this. That's like you just want to get in the bed at night. I don't want to do anything. But on my calling, the Lord has called me to be a light, to stand there. You never know who's coming to church on the narrow way that wants to hear truth. I've run so many people off just because some of the things I said, I just wouldn't compromise. And they want to hear what they want to hear. I don't have it. I can't do it. I try to look for it. It's just not inside of me. It's just not there. And I just rather have the few that I have than have a bunch of people in the big crowd. I gotta say what they say. So the Lord said to me one day, he woke me up and said, he said, out of all the terms of preaching they got topical preaching and expository preaching. He said, I'm calling you to be an analytical preacher. You're going to be analytical. You're going to analyze what you hear. You're going to listen. You're going to weigh it out. You're just not going to let somebody say, another one of those lines, It's not about a religion. It's about a relationship. And then the light comes on in my head. I don't do anything, but the Spirit of the Lord comes on me, and he says, there we go again. Saying these little spiritual ditties or nursery rhymes or whatever, And And then everybody starts saying, it's not about a religion, it's about a relationship. And I like, okay, speak for yourself. For me, it's about both. It's about a religion and a relationship. I'm not taking one or the other. God is to be worshipped. And they that worship him must worship him in what? Spirit and in. So there's worship there. That is a religion. That's a religion. But it's like so many people, not necessarily you, but you know what I mean. People just jump onto that thing and then start spreading it everywhere. And it's like, don't bring that over here. This is church on the narrow. My mind is on the narrow. I'm not putting that stuff in my brain because that's what the pastor preached that week. Woo, that was deep. It wasn't, that wasn't deep to me. I'm sorry. It should be both. God should be both a religion and a relationship. That's fine with me. Worship him on one hand, and I have a relationship with the person whom I'm worshiping. But people just, he said, you're a decoder. You're going to decode things. You're going to hear things. And when it doesn't sit well with you, I'm not going to jump up and say something, but I got to tell people the truth. I don't want to leave this planet just conforming, because the Bible tells us, I have the scripture, Corinthians, be not conformed, but be transformed. It's like, I know that in my spirit. I'm not going to conform to this mess. I'm controlling preachers tell you, don't do that. Your bishop don't like, they're scaring you half to death. It's just like, he said, you're going to be a decipher. You're going to listen and you're going to decipher. It's like the hidden agenda of the devil. People, oh God, people can be, I don't know exactly. It's just they are so like sheep, easily swayed or just go with the crowd. And I woke up this morning and God said, say this to the people. Say this to you. He said, you never know. People need to hear some people are looking for flat truth. It's not about the perfection of my life. I'm with the woman with the sins that are many and don't deserve to be even this preaching. But when God calls you, you just go. And my brain started thinking, and I started going, and the Spirit of God hit me and say, herd mentality. You've heard of it. The word herd mentality, like cattle, like sheep, coddled, people just in a bunch, just doing what everybody's doing. That brings me back to the church on the narrow. It's like, you're going to take the narrow way, Dawn. Your church is going to you're not going to conform to denominations just because the guy is a great bishop. A mighty man of God. That's fine. I have no problem. I think preachers have done it great. My thing is humility, and that's what all prophets should be. But my thing is just give me the truth, man. I'd rather have the truth. If even just hurt me, it's like, I'll be all right, Give me time. I'll get past it. It's going to be okay. But sometimes give me, if it's judgment and I deserve it, let it ride, man, I don't know. So many people got game, man. It's like in the church, it's like, I'll say this. I don't know how much I'd be at church if I didn't have a church. The Lord didn't call me. I guess maybe I'd probably play, and I do today for other churches, but I get in there. I just listen to the sermon, man, and keep it pushing. Just like, hey, I'm here to play. I'm not here to, But the herd mentality, let me read to you what the herd mentality is. There's a thing that says, I just simply started off by saying, I agree with the study that says that all herd mentality is not always doom and gloom. There's some good that clicks in the church. There's some, it's a group and meeting other people. Sometimes people can't go to church because I don't go no big old church. I don't like big. Sometimes there's a lot of good. Heaven is not a small place. So I can kind of balance between storefront churches or mega churches. It doesn't make a difference. I just don't have to jump in the denomination, but I'm here for a cause because these places should be the house of the Lord. That's my concern. As long as there's not, some witchcraft breaking out and false doctrine and all this kind of, some kind of, crystal balls, whatever, But herd mentality is not always doom and gloom, even though they claim the prophets preach do it, but it's not. It's correction. It's a message of correction that the prophets are preaching. Herd mentality is when individuals in a group will choose to follow what the group or the majority thinks or does, even if they know better. It's like everybody's doing this. Everybody wear an earring. Everybody doing it. After they doing it, everybody got tattoo. Everybody. It's like, man, I'm not coming. I'm not coming, bruh. And if they tell me there's a great preacher, he's a man. And I might enjoy the preaching, but and I know how to come back. I know how to get what I want. Then when I get it, I kind of like, yeah, I need to step it up higher. And I'm not mad at anybody. I just move on to the next thing. And that has been my ministry. I can't find that many prophetic people that I can relate to. And so I don't worry about it because the Lord has taught me himself, you know. You might have to hang by yourself, Don. You be alone. And I'm alone. It's me, and me. You know, come home alone, it's fine. Just like, hey, God said, wait on me before you move again. You have enough mistakes. You have enough. Come on, man, stand still. Okay, Lord, okay. You know? So people just follow the crowd. No, it's like, I just don't have it. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I don't have it. It's called a mob mentality. Some people call it a crowd psychology. When a person follows the crowd, even though they may know better, instead of doing what they know is right or know what is best, they choose to do as the crowd is doing, or the people around them, break a window, you know, throw a rock or do something like that. Or the protesters, the team ones, and they go downtown and they just throw, you know better, you know. So they do things, you know, outside of the group they wouldn't do at home. They wouldn't, and that's the narrow way to me. You know, I don't want to join the most. I don't want to. Just God and I and whoever has the same mindset. That's what I'm interested in, you know? One police starts shooting power and the other starts shooting. Just don't know, you know? I'm like, God, I would hate to be them on Judgment Day. You just start, one guy shoots and they all start shooting. And then they go to court and they get off and they justify this. I'm like, ooh, that is frightening to me. Seemed like if it was me, man, I say, man, I jumped in the crowd and I'd about to tell on myself, what'd you tell on other people? You messing up? It's like, man, you know, it's been a long journey, you know, through life, and I've seen a lot. Like they say Black Friday, Black Friday, you go in there in the stores and people can be very nice, probably on the outside talking to each other. But once that door opens, man, they like enemies, man. They will stampede because that herd mentality. They're just going to do what everybody else is doing. And it's crazy, you know. I just like, bruh, you can see it coming a mile away. If the Spirit of God is on you, he'll warn you what people are about to do. He'll tell you, get out of the way. Mom tell you to go home after something. You know, don't stick around. You see something, you know. Are you watching it from a distance? But you got to, sometimes it's just leave, man. Just get out. You may not be, you think you better than ever. You think, you got to learn to not care. And that's the part I think that God has pulled me to. Just don't worry about what another person thinks, another preacher thinks, another friend thinks. You're going to lose them. You know, Jesus was crucified by men that should have known who he was. I don't understand that. Preachers were against Jesus. It's like you got to wrestle. Prophets were against Jesus. It's like, what are you all thinking? What is the world thinking? I'm good. I'm good. You know, loneliness can be tough sometimes, but it's like it's better than jumping into something and getting all lost in your mind and sin is beginning to come back in your life. You know, it's like, man, be strong enough to stand by yourself. And I know you may not be able to go to a church, and you know you go there, and this starts again, and it's nice for a minute, and then you find out, and that's just a song. You don't talk to him like you know who that is. It's like, bruh, y'all, hey, it makes no difference, you know. So you see all of these things, and you know these false prophets, your Jim Jones, and that man with the comet, and the iPhones and all that stuff, you know. Yeah, I'm gonna get that man. You gotta get you don't get that man. You don't get that. It's like, man, y'all go. This is what's happening in the church these days, and again, I don't have it. I don't fit in. And I think somebody wrote a book called Fitting In. Fitting in. Sometimes it's overrated. It's just overrated. You just copy it off of something. You just doing it because they're doing it, and you know, it's not me. I've always been an original kind of guy, musically, ideally. my ideas, the thoughts that I have, the things I create, they're not something of somebody else. And I'm not have to be all original, but we all have something, that's compatible to those that's come before us. But there's no almost originality. People were singing like, the Winans started singing. Everybody had that same sound. It's like, whoa. It's like, and I'm listening to them. It just sound like, oh, cool. You know what? Hey, do your thing, man. So sometimes it's just best to just be quiet and just don't, people don't ask questions. And the Spirit of the Lord comes upon you. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. You gotta ask this question because everybody's afraid to ask it. Don't ask, bitch, don't talk. And you know that that's wrong. You know that man's a pastor. You know it's wrong. But there's a way to say it and there's a way to come up again. But you get in trouble if you try to correct pastors or anybody, prophets or whoever, man. But to me, and the Lord called me out. I just get out, man. I'm calling you. Just gonna have to make it on you. And that's what I have to say. We're basically, for the most part, you're on your own to know this Bible. All the preaching has changed to prosperity and motivational, and I love inspirational, but some days, like I was saying about the virus, everything is not inspirational. It's a time when we should be submitting our hearts to God and bowing our heads and repenting to God. But here we go back with the motivational preaching. Hey, you stay up on and don't let nobody. God is with you. And I'm like, I get it, but leave me with in the corner, in the dark, with my head bowed down, in my prayer closet or whatever. I don't want to be motivated right now. Right now, I want to pray to God for forgiveness, and He wants you to rise up. But that day is coming too, but it's not now. It's judgment time, So let me quickly get to maybe this last part of this if I can. What was that? It's like sheep. I was going to say it's like sheep led to the slaughter. That's why you see that statement in, I think it's Isaiah, and you can find it in Jeremiah. Sheep, and we're pastors are supposed to be over the sheep, and sometimes pastors are leading us the wrong way. And you're in this big old church, and this big war. You just a part, and sometimes you got to pull out, not because you're angry, but I just don't fit. I'm not better, but okay. For instance. In this book, preachers don't preach on the end times, and that frightens me. That literally frightens me, man. That really does frighten me. I think about how are we going to know what to do when the signs of the times happen. The signs of the times are already happening. All we say, especially in the black church, y'all better get your life right. Jesus is coming back. I tell you, folks, you need to get right. These are the last days. These are the last days. Bishop, these are the last days, folks. I'm telling you, these are the last days. Oh, God. These are the last days. The Lord is on His way back. And the people are just like, my God, my God. And it's like, I'm sitting there going, as a prophet, that's it. You do your Matthew 24s, and you're not going to hear that, For many will come in my name saying, I am the Christ, and will deceive many. Or and on to wars and rumors. You're not going to get that. Seems like in the black church, it's like, I'm out. I'm just out. I'll run it. If my life just turns out to be whatever, and I died in some odd, strange, that boy, I'd rather go than jump into something where I'm ignorant of the times. The Bible says the sons of Issachar understood. And people will defend, denial. It's like, oh, I'm like, oh, Lord, am I going to make it? But for you, cheer up. No, seriously, cheer up. God is with those of us like myself and you and those that hear me. Don't join the crowd. You don't join them. Don't just stay at a church because I was talking to someone this week who told me who that pastor was. I said, yeah, I've seen him a lot of times on the internet over and over doing certain things. You got to get out of there, man. No. Sometimes they're the most popular places, the biggest places. The crowd is there. We're back to herd. We're back to herd mentality now. See, we are back to herd mentality. It's the biggest church. Everybody knows him. He's on TV. Oh, I saw him on, and we go there because we just want to be, And for me, it's the narrow way all the way out, man. For me, it's just the narrow way out. So, nations rise against nations. In the beginning, all these things are just the beginning of sorrows. I've gone to church after church, hear preacher after preacher, classes after classes. This is not what they talk about in the black church. And not just like, Bishop ain't brought this up yet. The book of Revelation hasn't been preached yet. It's like you're setting God's people up to fail. The signs of the times are just all up on us. The Bible says it was the days of Sodom and Gomorrah and the days of Noah. Sodom and Gomorrah is rising. There are leaders that have caused it to rise. It's just not going to happen. Sodom and Gomorrah didn't happen overnight, man. Come on. It's happening just like it's happening now. You see signs of these things. You see signs of corruption. You see signs of people falling, apostasy, and you're sitting there looking at it. And you go to church and then you want to preach on, let's preach on Jesus has risen. Okay, we heard Jesus has risen. Well, we're going to preach on the 5,000, feeding the 5,000. Okay, great. But the monsters and the enemy, Satan, is just sowing seed while we're talking. He's doing things out in the world now, pulling people that are weak, the lamb, the sheep that are going astray, who just, he's snatching them like wolves. The Bible, he speaks of them as wolves. I talked about the herd mentality. It's like, they're just following after anybody. Like sheep, again, led to the slaughter. People angry because you left or you got out of it. You don't do it anymore. And then how they pull you back. Ooh, you missed last time. Ooh, you missed it, girl. You should have been there. And you're like, what I missed? I missed it. Next thing, you better come on back, girl. Dude, homeboys going, bang, 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 drum walk. And you're like, I better go back. It's like, no. You can go to church and visit. You can visit places, but you got to be careful. That's my message really today in a nutshell, Prophets, we may sound negative and like we're but we're not. Prophets come to reach their hand in there to save the people of God. They spoke into the life of the king, the president, the leader. They spoke into his life. They're trying to pull you back to God, trying to get you to see the error of your ways so that God can restore us and bring us back to the Lord. Restore the joy of my salvation like it used to be, with a smile on my face, the excitement of praising God and giving and lifting my hands and I can't do that with a guilty conscience. I pray for you, those that hear me, that the Lord bless you and you get strong enough to walk away if you got to walk by yourself. I don't have all the answers. All I can say, if you would be at my church, I'm going to tell you the truth as best I know. I don't like mixing words. I don't want you to join because if I don't, I'm going to say it. I'm going to call it just like it is. So God bless you. You can make a comment. I would really appreciate it. I appreciate your comments always. And like buttons and all those things. And like I said, there's a book. I'm planning this book. I just these unspoken things that are just all around us, and they just got us trapped and clogged. And don't say nothing. No, shh. Just don't. I got to speak on these things. These are the vices of Satan that's holding so many people bound. Well, it looks like a 30-minute video. I didn't want to talk that long, but maybe you needed to hear it. I just try to encourage you. As Martin Luther King said, I just want to do God's will. How you used to be, how I used to be, is not the same person as you are today or I am today. If people want to bring up your path, that's all they want to be strong enough. Keep going for. That's why he says, he that endureth till the end. That That's a whole thing in there he's saying about the challenges that will come against you. Well, God bless you and God keep you. This is Prophet Pastor Don. I hope I've encouraged you. Maybe you don't live in Los Angeles, Inglewood area, like, that's where we are. So you can look us up anytime. Or maybe you live in New York, across, Midwest, South, whatever. Look for that kind of church. May the Lord watch and keep. And you stay, on the narrow way.